Good? Yeah, I think we're good. Shout outs to anyone who's actually going to watch this at 1:45 in the morning. I need to get used to the idea of communicating to audiences asynchronously. That is to say, I'm making this video ahead of time for you because by the time you watch this, I'll already. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to Evil Dojo. This is the Evil Dojo podcast, vlogcast, video stream, live news coverage thingy. And I actually like this format a little bit better. By that, you'll see what I mean soon. Shout outs to anyone who's kept up with me over the years and followed my work and continues to support and appreciate me being here, because I'm here for you and I'm here for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who depend on me, many of which y'all have no idea about or really don't even know who they are because I don't really talk about them all that much. And that's okay, because those people are not necessarily tech people. They're not hackers. They're not gamers. Well, I mean, they're really, some of them are, but talking about, of course, my family, of which I wouldn't be here without them either. And together, this is a very networked effort. No one thing is truly done alone, but we hope and aspire, right, to be as independent as possible in the process of creating things. And that said, things cannot be forced. Things have to kind of emerge naturally. It's not about grinding out mindless content that doesn't hit, despite what the algorithms would suggest. You got to be in production. You got to be working. You got to be grinding naturally. But you also have to take time to rest. You have to take time to recover. You have to make sure that you tend to yourself in such a way as to avoid burnout, because there's no quicker way to flatline than to work yourself to death. And if you're not taking that adequate time to, focus on your mental health and your physical health and your well-being and your personal hygiene and all sorts of things, things can go south very quickly. And these things add up over time. This is why you have to make a solid effort to essentially construct like a day-to-day process or series of processes that kind of confer good living standards. Because for a lot of people, the pressure is all centered around work itself. And I don't think this is healthy. I don't think this is good for society. I don't think this is good, period. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm Evil Dojo. I think I would know a thing or two about what is or is not good, right? Like, we study evil so that we might never have to do it, in much the same way as martial arts is studied so that you might never have to use it. This is the concept. This is the groundwork. And actually, I've been ranting long enough that I should at least let people know that we are live. I have not even done yet. Koontz, that's not how... Also, we are live. Let's see. Me, there we go. the biggest dick riders I've got are also the biggest trolls. But the problem is they're not very good. They're, kind of weak in terms of effect because they immediately reveal themselves. And I say immediately, but it's really been more like a multi-year process, right? But at the same time, I think to myself, there must be some entertainment value for someone to go through what I would think of as a lot of effort. Because the way that school shooters are formed is by a systematic oppression that occurs. You have to push someone to a point where they don't really care so long as they achieve the desired effect that they're going for, because after a certain point someone's gonna say fuck this, I'm not gonna live in this world that way any longer, and they reverse the gears on their own internal processing to the point where from their perspective they are standing up and really asserting themselves from a energetic perspective. Like if you think of people as beings of energy, right? Like, because in the end, these sacks of meat, these flesh bodies that contain our essence, you can't quantitatively put experience into code on a certain level, right? The entropy of your life accumulates to a critical point where you can actually make decisions. You kind of wake up from being an NPC and become a PC. Everyone has that Breaking Bad moment. Eventually, and with any hope, people aren't driven in a negative direction when they wake up. I think that would be a goal for society to achieve. But before we can get there, we have to first deal on an individual basis with the people in our own lives and make our terms known. Hi, Cheese. It's like, is it the government that runs the people, or is it the people that run the government? It's that sort of chicken or the egg type problem. Whenever a bad thing happens in society, people are quick to try to reduce the essence of the problem to a singular issue. It's not really new, actually, Cheese. I got this at Christmas time. It's not a bad chair though for what I paid for it. But at the same time, I also am recognizing that my back is just fucked, and no amount of new chairs that I get is going to fix that. And I just have to be kind of comfortable finding where the kinks are in my body and cracking them out, because I don't have a big ass fucking body where I can just plump it down, just like and just like stay in one position for all day or whatever. I just can't hack it like that. Um, but that's okay. Everyone's got a different vibe, a different workflow. Uh, Different system requirements, if we will, for optimal computering. Um, for instance, based on the state of my back, I find that my hands want to rest in different locations. Um, One issue that I have with this chair actually is that it does not raise up sufficiently, in my opinion. It it's like, here's the lowest position, right? And then here's the highest position. But the way that my legs have always kind of sat isn't like with my feet directly flat on the floor. Um, it's actually usually like with balls of my toes arched so that my calves are all very tense and my lower back is kind of like locked into place. Um, I'm pretty sure this is a function of the uh, the titanium plates that I have on my spine. Um, Doctors really did not prepare me in the long, long term for what I was going to have to deal with after I had that surgery when I was like 11 years old or so. But it's been a fun learning experience. Um, I think for all intents and purposes, you know, crab hand aside, scoliosis taken into account, I really should be functionally considered disabled. It doesn't matter how much work I'm able to get done, how many students I've tutored, how many corporate projects I've worked on, um, regardless of my own physical desire to work and to participate in capitalistic production. um, I also logically look at my situation and I go, I should have been on fucking disability before I ever had my first job. I think I'm very much entitled to a lifetime of disability payments that I would probably have to get a network of lawyers to actually fight for, because that kind of shit's difficult. Annoying. Processes like that are annoying. Having to deal with loopholes and jumping through hoops to get shit done and having to wait, all of that shit is tedious and annoying, and I totally understand my grandma's pain in the process of getting her teeth fixed. She's having to go through all of these different procedures. We're having to actually actively think about pros and cons of doing certain things, and she just wants to get some shit done, and I get it. But unfortunately, life isn't as simple as just being able to snap our fingers and just make things happen. Someone was giving me some shit recently about, um, if I do a show or a podcast, I should have it on like one specific topic, and that's just not how my fucking brain works. That's not how any of this goes. And certainly people attempt to inject their own ideas of who it is that I should be or how I should conduct myself, but in the end we can only be ourselves. And it's just funny. Just shout outs to Octo and Jubird, who have unfortunately died. They they have fallen in the great chat war of 2022. Rest in peace to those two. I wish them well in hell, where they are. Um, where do we go from here? The title of this stream, let's go ahead and focus on a little bit of news. So, I suffered a unfortunate situation recently, and I'm still in the process of doing it. This is what the rant about hating processes and just wanting to get some shit done comes from. So, I've been a Coinbase user for many years now, right? I've been involved dabbling in cryptocurrency, being tangent to the technology, experimenting with it, seeing that it works or doesn't work, or all this sort of stuff for a very long time, ever since the white paper for Bitcoin came out about like 10 plus years ago. Very few problems during this time, very few. Very smooth process in general. Actually, now that I think about it, let's just do mass notification. There we go. And we'll also we'll spam it in LRH too. Why not? So I made some purchases recently, right? I've got a Coinbase card. I've got Coinbase One for free for 30 days. And I gotta cancel it, but made some purchases. I paid for my power bill. I got some groceries, and then I took a bath, and then I decided to take a look at my account again when I got out. And it's a good thing I did, because all of a sudden there's a $122 charge. Not even charge, like transaction that I didn't make on my USD coin account. And Coinbase has no idea what happened. So it doesn't show up in my Coinbase card transactions. There's no merchant information associated with the transaction. As far as I can tell, I'm not able to get any additional details about like the transaction as it occurred on the blockchain, which I think is kind of fucked. But there's the best I have at the moment is a case number, like a technical case number for this event that Coinbase currently has no explanation for. They can't tell me what happened, or where my money is, or whether or not I'm gonna get it back. So shout outs to Coinbase. Been doing business with them for what? When did they start? When did Coinbase fucking first start doing their shit? Let's see. Coinbase began, they were founded in 2012, and I think I got my first account on there 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. So I was on several different exchanges. I actually made some money on Poloniex before they suspended trading for US investors by catching Dogecoin really early on and selling like during the middle of a pump and dump. And the big suck about that is if I held on to all this Dogecoin that I had from 2014 till now, oh man, I'd be fucking doing great. And the same goes for the Bitcoin situation too. The federal government seized one Bitcoin that I had in Silk Road back in like 2013. So, I worked hard for those for all that stuff, and I don't have it anymore. And now I don't have this additional $122 worth of a stable coin because something happened. We have no idea what this something is, and that's gonna be fun. Oh yeah, well, you say don't keep your coins on the exchange, Kuntz, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to get that 4% rewards. So having no idea what happened there, I decided to move all my money back into my real bank account, and for the moment, I'm not even fucking with it. You say don't keep your coins on an exchange, Kuntz, too, but at the same time, for a lot of people, like the majority of crypto holders in general at the moment, most of... Uh-oh, interesting. So this is actually... Um, so actually, this might be related to what I experienced. So yeah, for a lot of people, they, your on road, your on ramp to crypto in general is usually going to be through an exchange. Very few people are going to be making crypto via like mining or something to this effect. So check this out. But yeah, in general, you don't generally want to hold your coins on there. That said, that statement ignores the exact use case that I was working with. So check this out for a moment. $248 million worth of stablecoins flow out of Coinbase as community refutes exchange liquidity issues. Rumors of Coinbase having a liquidity crisis have been refuted by the community as outflows vary in a nervous crypto market. So this was a day ago, and the last that I spoke with anyone about this issue was on Friday. So I actually have access to a Coinbase human tech support phone number that I get access to as a result of my Coinbase One subscription. There's actually a button in the Coinbase app that I'm able to press that connects me to a real human being after you navigate through a series of automated prompts in order to address some sort of issue. And I did that, and the best that they could do is tell me, we've got a support number assigned to your case. Someone will get in touch with you regarding any next steps that you need to perform. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking great. Am I gonna get my money back? Like, what? What the fuck? Are you serious? The lady was so bad at customer service. Like, the whole time I was just left like nerve wracked that she has no idea, and it's probably the case that there's going to be a lot of people looking at this case who are not going to be able to figure out what the fuck happened to that transaction, or why it even occurred in the first place, or what was the origin of the initiation of this transaction. These are basic questions that I have that have not been yet answered, and I will keep everyone updated as I go forward in this case, because that's a lot of money in general, period. It's not $100,000, it's $122, but you can do a lot with that. And based off just the story of crypto in general, one day you can have a penny, the next you can have $1,000, and the next you can have nothing. As is the nature of energy and time and life itself in a lot of ways. So $122 could be a lot of things, um, but it's a lot of things that I can't even do without it at the moment. And so this story of me losing that money becomes a thing that I can do having lost it. Um, is report to y'all that there is a potential 0 day on the Ethereum blockchain impacting stable coins. It could even be impacting multiple blockchains for all I know. Let's think about worst case scenarios here. What's really going on? What could be happening underneath the hood? Because these people at the support center have no fucking idea what the hell is going on. If they did, they would have been able to immediately point to, oh, hey, this thing occurred at this thing from this IP address, and that's the origin of this fraudulent transaction, and we're fucking on it. But they weren't even able to tell me that much. They're probably just like, "Dar, I have no idea what happened. I'm gonna talk to my manager." Yeah. So these fucking people are idiots. They're retards of the highest magnitude. Um, this entire crypto situation, this gold rush that's been happening for the last 10 plus years, um, Coinbase is going to become the next Mount Gox. I feel it. Um, I once, and this was also my big mistake, was having confidence in them. All of that confidence has been undermined. Years worth of relationships with this organization that has ultimately come to represent for a lot of investors one of the pivotal names in cryptocurrency exchanges, because it's no longer easy for anyone to get onto crypto without having access to some way to convert their US dollars, their personal currency, into this new one. You have to have some form of trade. Otherwise, you only have so many other avenues that you can explore in the crypto department. I've been doing this a while. I've certainly lost more than $122 before. At the beginning of the year, I lost a little. I mean, I actually got this back. And this will actually be a really good comparison between a decentralized exchange such as TinyMan, which actually did compensate me and the rest of the community with the amount of money that I did lose. They actually gave it back in Algorand, which was fucking amazing. They also gave like a little NFT that if you held on to it, but I was retarded and decided to clear it out of my wallet. If you held on to it, you would have been able to get access to certain like private liquidity pools. But we're going to see how Coinbase handles the situation with me, and we'll be able to really do a comparison between a decentralized exchange and how they handled a hack of several smart contracts where they ended up losing millions of dollars, versus a situation where it's currently unknown why the transaction occurred on my account in the first place. In the first hack, like, we know exactly what happened, how they exploited the smart contracts and everything. Here, there is absolutely zero explanation. Okay, so big difference. Not a very happy discussion in general, but one that I've been rolling over in my head. I wanted to wait until I had sufficient enough I guess, like emotional fortitude to not be like screaming, into the fucking microphone about this, because it's very annoying to have to go through period in the first place. Let's see what people are chatting about. What DeFi exchange was I talking about? Tiny Man. Yeah, sometimes you are pooping on a toilet, and sometimes you are wheeling around in an office chair. That is true. The best situation is you have a toilet built into the office chair so that you don't have to go anywhere. Um, the problem there is you would have to have some sort of flexible, like, system where the pipes can move around with you, because otherwise, you're going to be kind of locked into one place, as his toilet wants to be. Usually, I have not known a moving toilet other than the kind that you can like pick up and just haul somewhere. But so, something fun happened the other day. I woke up and I was followed by Lil B, the base god. Look at that. Follows you. And who is you? That's me, Dark Mage. EvilDojo.eth. And we are followed by Lil B, the base god. So that was pretty fun. Shoutouts to Lil B. Thank you, base god. You can fuck all my bitches. I wouldn't even know about this rapper if not for a famous Beatmania 2DX player who's no longer with us on this planet. Shoutouts to Oni Plus, otherwise known as Oni PA, who was from the Bay Area, and he got me onto this Bay Area rapper named Little B, or Lil B. It's not little. Motherfucker's probably taller than I am. Let's see what else. What's going on here in Evil Dojo land? Oh yeah. Let's go over to Discord for a moment. So Hunter Biden been having a bit of a party. I don't know if this is going to get me banned, but I honestly don't give a fuck. It's something that's not being covered by the news in general. I have not seen one mainstream media outlet outside of Fox and, the right side in general. Like, none of the left-wing outlets are covering this. But actually, let's take a step back before we watch this one. Let's talk about, like, a history. Deprivation tank vid? No. Let's take a step back. It's not about the specifics of what his son does. And you say who cares, but it's the network. It's the network that matters, right? Like it's the tip of an iceberg of implications in terms of corruption, bad faith dealings, the upending of American moral virtues and all of that jazz. So like I said, let's take a step back in time to the early 90s. This is an interview that I was tipped off to thanks to Tim Dillon, who I've become a big fan of in recent days. First of all, I'm a big fan of Norm Macdonald already. I mean, I grew up on fucking Saturday Night Live, in his heyday when he was on the Weekend Updates. I thought that shit was the shit. Like, I wanted to be that guy, in a lot of ways. He was funny as fuck. He gave everything in such a dry, kind of monotone thing. And I wasn't even sure I got it back then, but the more I've gotten older, I like to go back and go through favorite old comedians' materials and really feel it. Really appreciate what it is that they do. And we're going to appreciate something that Norm Macdonald did here, where he starts calling out things as he see it. I mean, this is in a lot of ways, it's one of those running jokes, and it's a joke because it's kind of true-ish perspectives, where a lot of people would argue against something, but at the same time, if you throw it out there and it sticks to the wall, noodle's done, right? I'll show you what I mean exactly. Let's see. I like this thing that we can do with Firefox, where I do the picture-in-picture, and then I go over to my OBS and downstream keyer. No, that's not what I want.
These words are droll, sarcastic, controversial, hilarious. Well, those are some of the words that are used to describe Norm Macdonald's character on his sitcom, Norm. But as you will see in this clip, people may think twice before they use the words smooth or charming. Take a look.
Hey, Lori. Hey, look, I can see your underwear there.
You're supposed to see them.
Yeah, that's a little desperate, isn't it?
I'm playing tennis with Shelley.
You're playing tennis with Shelley?
Yeah.
Hey, I have an idea that would even be more fun for you. If I played tennis with Shelley, while you, I don't know what you do, who cares?
And in spite of that, please welcome Norm Macdonald.
No, Vinay show. My topic is not missing a 6, and
What's up, man?
Okay, Norm, you're Canadian.
Yes, I am.
So what do you think of this whole presidential mess?
Well, I hope that the Democrats don't steal the election from the winner, but who knows?
You like George Bush, don't you?
I love George Bush, man. He's a good man, decent, none of this. Yeah, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that. So it'd be good to get the. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the.
Sorry, I just gotta get this out of the way because Vinay show is already trying to sidetrack the entire conversation by making comments that are completely unrelated to the topic at hand, because he's incapable of conceiving that the topic is something that I put in quotes. And so if there's some sort of display issue outside of IRC where, actually I may have muted myself. No, I haven't. If there's some sort of issue outside of IRC, then yeah, no, you're not helping though. That's the whole point. That's why I'm trying to get you to kind of chill with all that. You're breaking the flow. So let's continue without just completely ignoring whatever comment you had to say. Your topic is missing a 6 again. Such an annoying sidetrack. Not helping at all. That's because of the message size limit in this. And yeah, the 6 got omitted there. Okay, I see what you're saying, but yeah, it's completely irrelevant to like what we're actually streaming about. You know this. You're just trying to get me riled up for no reason. Um, Things like this can be made comment when I'm not live. You understand? No, of course you don't, because you're a fucking idiot. I'm not negative. I'm positively telling you how it is. So we're just gonna leave you alone, and we're gonna continue. No, it's not mad. You're just like really like attention seeking right now, um, which is very annoying. Always need so much attention. It's like your parents didn't give you enough growing up. And I feel bad for you. Get good at what? Telling you to, you know, go fuck off? Easy. Not a problem. Like, we're gonna get back to watching Norm Macdonald though,
White House and get like a.
and start from the beginning, past the little dumb thing. But yeah, you got kicked out of you got kicked out for a reason,
Norm,
bro.
you're Canadian.
Yes, I am.
So what do you think of this whole presidential mess?
Well, I hope that the Democrats don't steal the election from the winner, you know, but who knows?
You like George Bush, don't you?
I love George Bush, man. He's a good man, decent, you know, none of this. Yeah, he's, you know, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that. So it'd be good to get the. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Oh.
Who are the murderers?
Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, you know, we're not allowed to, you're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little
Charlie.
too far.
That's the way it does
let's
work.
let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm?
Did you never hear that?
No. Listen,
No,
we don't need
I
to
don't want
talk
to get
about
into
this.
this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question. So get with it.
There you go.
This is a live show.
Not for nothing, Norm,
Live.
but you have been with it.
All right, let's back up.
I tell you.
You're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little
Charlie.
too
That's
far.
the way it does
Let's
work.
just,
You know, we're not allowed.
Next question.
Yeah, he's, you know, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that. So it'd be good to get the. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House. Get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question. Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, you know, we're not allowed to, you're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little
Charlie.
too
That's
far.
the way it does work.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my.
I mean, she to respond to what Cheese was saying, yeah, Norm's just trolling the View, dumb show for dumb women. I mean, on one hand, you could say that, but at the same time, it's like, you could kind of think of The View like a gatekeeping institution in a lot of ways. I had a lot of thoughts while in Florida every so often when I would catch this unfortunate show. And I would be thinking, who is this show meant for? And like she says, for dumb women, but I was thinking more specifically, like, housewives, you know, people who were home all day. And it's like, you put 5 women together and they have whatever guest, and they grill so hard. So for a dude like Norm to come up on the show and just flow, you know, so easily is a marvelous thing to witness. Whether or not he's actually quote trolling, I don't think is the point that I'm looking at so much. I don't think he could have been anything but his true authentic self, and like this is so it could be a very engineered effort to disrupt their own flow. Definitely true.
My week, what can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
No. Listen,
No,
we don't need
I
to
don't
talk
want to get
about
into
that.
this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to
Right,
the question.
exactly.
So get with it.
There you go.
This is
Like that kind of shit right there is like their very poor attempt to like shut him down, which is something that you will experience in your own life in many different ways. I experience it all the time, where you actually have something to say, but other people try to like, shh, you know, just calm down. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. But oftentimes the people who are in these positions either see themselves as like some sort of authoritarian, and of course the women on this show definitely see themselves as the authority, but then you got Norm come up in here, giant cojones, being all like,
a live show.
Not for nothing, Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm now going to ask the next
I
question.
thought it was a matter of record.
I thought it was a matter of record.
Okay.
Let me do this, okay?
I'll tell you what's a matter of record. You will not be invited back if you don't shut up. All right, now. Let's talk football.
These fucking bitches, Jesus Christ.
All right, manslaughter.
Let's talk football.
Norm, did you ever hear the word?
The phone is ringing.
I certainly hope that's somebody calling to tell you to go home.
Oh, no.
Dude, you got a phone ringing.
Oh.
Answer the phone.
Hello? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. The thing is this. There, you know Matt Strauss?
Yeah, the producer.
The producer, he told me it would be funny. He said, like, why don't you carry a cell phone on and then let it ring and then pretend like there's a guy on it?
Is there anybody on it?
No, it's a thing, pretend
You
thing.
know what, Norm?
Here, you talk
You
to
know
him then.
you know what, Barbara? You know what you said about rage
Now that's actually a good troll.
and work?
Give this man a plate of soup and tell him to shut up.
Norm,
All right, then. Let's see.
Norm.
What?
Okay, listen, Norm, listen. Not only have you annoyed us, but
That was
I've read that you have actually annoyed one of your idols. Who is that?
Oh, the great Bill Cosby.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Oh, my God, I love that guy. He's my hero, you know, just like you. Maybe George or Bill Clinton would be your hero. I love...
There's no stopping you, is there?
No, you seem to like Bill
They
Clinton.
really, and this man leads into our show on Friday night.
I know.
It's all right, his career's over after this anyway. Who cares? Go ahead, Norm.
No, Bill Clinton, who's a great man, obviously. You know, everybody has their opinions, right?
Are you moving along?
No,
You're
Bill
going to get to the point.
Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Oh,
God.
Coffee. What are you drinking in there?
Now, Bill Cosby is a great man, first
Okay.
of all. There has never been any accusations toward Bill Cosby about any...
Will you just tell us?
Oh, that's bad. That didn't age very well at all. Oh, man. Oh, poor Bill.
That's what you did for Bill Cosby.
Oh, I met him. I opened for him at a club, and he was a great man, you know. He's my hero of all time. You know how funny Bill Cosby
Yeah,
is, right?
so I'll get to the point. I'm going past menopause. Make the point. Let's go.
Not everything has a point.
We are learning that, okay?
All right, Norm, you want to finish the story, or shall I ask you the next thing?
Well,
That is kind of beautiful. Not everything has a point. If only more people understood this.
the Bill Cosby thing is this.
Dear God.
I met Bill Cosby. We're all fans of Bill Cosby, right, Barbara?
Yeah.
What? Yes. Why don't we talk about the millionaire?
Oh, yeah, you know what? Tonight, Norm and I...
Please. I like Bill Cosby. Let's talk about the millionaire.
Norm MacDonald and I are on The Millionaire tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, tell him about that, how you thought he's dumb today. Wait till you see
Yeah.
it tonight. Come on, Norm. Tell him, Norm.
People always told me Hollywood was like incredibly liberal and biased, and I thought it was untrue. But
You want to talk about the millionaire?
yes, I
Okay,
do.
fine.
I
You have
do.
10 seconds
tell
to
how
talk
much
about
you
the
want.
millionaire.
Don't tell how much.
Don't tell them what I won?
No.
Oh.
You're not allowed to tell anything like that.
Well, what are you trying to ask him then?
I don't know. He doesn't answer anything anyway. So
All
we'll tell him.
right. Okay, so he's on The Millionaire tonight, and he's on Friday nights, and
And on Monday, his taxes will be audited.
so he's on Friday nights at 9. He's on The Millionaire at 9. You can play along at home on Enhanced TV. You are a number. I have never met anything like you. We will be right back.
This whole thing was fucking great. And I use this as a lead-in to a quick little video of Hunter Biden having fun. This is a fun video too, but I think it might be against Twitch toss to play it, so I'm not going to. However, this probably is not necessarily against toss. Maybe it is. We'll find out.
2.07 without the bag. So how long is 2.0?
So Hunter Biden having fun with 20.7. He was reading the numbers wrong off of the scale in the first place, but and I don't know necessarily that that's crack specifically. If it is, it's rocked up pretty good, but it could be any number of things. Gosh, I mean, so many different research chemicals that are basically like some sort of off-white powder, just like that. But I especially like the little clip at the beginning where he shows his face. Like, it's like, what's up? I mean, think about times in your life where you were partying really hard and you took video or photos of yourself with your friends. This motherfucker's like 50 years old. One of the sons of the commander-in-chief. Only one video out of a whole treasure trove of items that have been dumped from his I believe iCloud account. It's no longer just about the laptop, but corruption, right? People be like, why does this matter? Motivation for making small changes, because ultimately small changes can lead to big results. I did not personally vote in the last election, and I don't think it would have mattered if I did. I think that there was, and I don't think it was just this last one, but many of these things that we call elections are not necessarily rigged, but manipulated in large ways by both sides of every aisle. This is just a fact that has been known since I was a child, and I watched The Simpsons, and the episode where Sideshow Bob, I believe he becomes the mayor. He tried to rig an election with a bunch of dead people. He's Republican. Sideshow Bob. Let's see, no, not his funeral, but yeah, he became mayor, right?
Mayor Quimby supports revolving door prisons. Mayor Quimby even released Sideshow Bob, a man twice convicted of attempted murder. Can you trust a man like Mayor Quimby? Vote Sideshow Bob for mayor.
The League of Uninformed Voters presents the Springfield Mayoral Debates. I'm your moderator, Larry King. Now a word to our audience. Even though we're being broadcast on Fox, there's no need for obnoxious hooting and hollering.
Action! I shouldn't have shaken hands with those old people.
So this whole scene is a kind of an homage to kind of like an event-ish that happened in history between, I believe it was Richard Nixon and JFK. And JFK looked so much better than Nixon did on television. He was said to have basically won those that particular set of debates, and it was probably around that time too that like the visual appearance, the manner of presentation became such a huge factor in who ends up being elected, even though the visuals and the appearances only matter for the interactive aspect. Like, it's not enough to have a great vision or to have a plan of action. You also have to look and behave in a manner. But then how the hell did Biden get elected?
I hope that flu doesn't affect his performance out there. Don't worry, he's taking 1 million of these capsules.
Sideshow Bob, Councilman Les Winan says that you're not experienced enough to be mayor. Sir, what do you have to say about that?
I'd say that Les Winan ought to do more thinking and less whining.
There's no Councilman Les Winan. Good line, though.
Mayor Quimby, you're well known, sir, for your lenient stance on crime. But suppose for a second that your house was ransacked by thugs, your family tied up in the basement with socks in their mouths. You try to open the door, but there's too much blood on the knob.
What?
So,
Please hear that question.
My question's about the budget, sir.
So that whole little exchange, I feel like, is very, it gets to the heart of the caricature of a Republican, of a conservative in general. The extreme zooming in of a particular issue that they might be discussing, the essence being, for a liberal mind, an issue is easily solved with a few number of words, usually words that can placate an emotional craving for an answer or query or something. Whereas in this way, you can almost think of like the conservative mind as a scientific ethic designed to completely and thoroughly flesh out the different instances of a plan. This is what I would call programming. But I think it would be too generous to say that conservatives are capable of programming in this way. Not to say that like a quick little 5-second joke in The Simpsons is a valid enough impression of, you know, a political party with over 100 years, or a philosophy or an ethos. But at the same time, it was a thought I had when I saw that scene as an adult.
I don't agree with his Bart killing policy, but I do approve of his Selma killing policy.
Well, he framed me for armed robbery. Man, I'm aching for that upper class tax cut. Ugh.
And the results are in. For Sideshow Bob, 100%. For Joe Quimby, 1%. And we remind you there is a 1% margin of error. All right, let's go live to Bob headquarters now for Mayor Terwilliger's victory speech.
To respond to your statements, Cheese, it's reflective of how we're being treated. Not only are we being treated poorly, but the commander-in-chief's son is also out there partying it up really hard. Would things be any better if Hunter Biden were not a drug-addicted fail son? That's not how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like him being a drug-addicted fail son is a reflection of the times. And if things were better, then maybe he wouldn't be that. Or rather, we wouldn't have a commander-in-chief with that situation, or we wouldn't have a commander-in-chief that's like so old that he keeps making these stumbles with his words. But the big thing for me and Biden is that he just doesn't have any energy. And I don't get the sense that he really believes in the things that he says. I think that he's kind of like a puppet corpse, basically being made to say and do things that all the people around him want him to do. I think it's a pretty bad boomer example too. I think he's even older than that. He might be in that generation, but the boomer, I guess, swath does, encompass a pretty wide range of individuals. Hillary losing was a vote of no confidence on the Obama regime. Yeah, and that's probably true, because I actually did vote for Obama twice, and then I voted for Trump immediately after that. Yeah. But,
Sorry, Miss.
My dad. Special
Repeat.
garden.
First.
damn it, they didn't have the part that I was actually looking for in that video, which was a scene where Sideshow Bob, graveyard. Yeah.
Experienced enough.
And who each one of them voted for. The results of last month's mayoral election. All 48,000 voters and who each one of them voted for.
I thought this was a secret ballot.
Meh.
You're on the right track. Follow the names.
How the hell do you know?
I can't tell you who I am, but I worked on the campaign.
Hey, Mr. Smithers!
Well, you might as well give me a ride home now. Never gone behind Mr. Burns' back before, but Sideshow Bob's ultra-conservative views conflict with my choice of lifestyle. All I can do is give you one name, Edgar Neubauer. Find him and you'll find your answer.
Hey! Lise! Lise, come here! I found him! I found Edgar Neubauer! Oh my god! The dead have risen and they're voting Republican! No, Bart, don't you see? Dead people can't vote. Look! Prudence Goodwife died 1641. She voted for Bob, too. So did Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper. Even...
Yeah, I think that's at the very end of the episode when he's, like, on trial. So...
Mr. Mayor, is it true you rigged the election?
No, I did not.
Kids help.
I have a plan. I think we can trap him. You know, Sideshow Bob, I believe you when you say you're innocent.
Indeed I am.
Because we all know you're a naive pawn, puppet, if you will, of the most T. Barlow. Genius Springfield has on puppet, if you will, of the most diabolical political genius Springfield has ever known. Archibald T. Barlow. You don't have the intelligence to rig an election by yourself, do you? You were just Barlow's lackey. You were Ronnie to his Nancy. Sonny to his Cher. Bingo to his rest of the Beatles.
Enough! Lies, lies, lies! I did it! I did it all! There. Is that what you want, you smarmy little bastards?
We want the truth.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. No truth handler, you! Bah! I deride your truth-handling abilities!
Will you get to the point?
Yes! Only I could have executed such a masterpiece of electoral fraud. And I have the records to prove it! Here, just look at these! Each one a work of Machiavellian art!
But why?
Because you need me, Springfield. Your guilty conscience may force you to vote Democrat, but deep down inside you secretly long for a cold-hearted Republican to lower taxes, brutalize criminals, and rule you like a king. That's why I did this, to protect you from yourselves. Now, if you don't mind, I have a city to run.
Bailiffs, place the mayor under arrest.
What? Oh, yes. All that stuff I did.
Yeah, it's classic cheese. What was the point I was making with that? This isn't to say that people on the Republican side aren't like I think my point was that there's corruption on both sides, and that, you know, oftentimes it becomes like a decision of the lesser of two evils. Which is not exactly the best spot to be in as far as running a society goes. Even then, it's also very difficult, and I'm not sure that we can say that we can truly quantify such a thing. I attempted to with Trump and Hillary Clinton. I really tried. I really tried to treat my vote for whoever I was going to vote for as a penetration test. Like, I don't feel like I put myself through the same paces when I voted for Obama the first two times. And so I wanted to really apply that ethic to my own decision-making processes. And that's how I ended up voting for Trump. Well, the legalization of marijuana is a very complicated one. I've even thought about, if I were president, how could I make the pharmaceutical industry shut the fuck up long enough for, oh, we got some people. How could I make the pharmaceutical industry shut the fuck up long enough to actually let the industry grow and niche itself? And it's kind of like the same thing that they're doing with vaping. I hear that there's some weird regulations coming for nicotine as well. Like, there's some weird thing where like you can't advertise vapes as like an alternative or a way to like stop smoking or something like that. Like, there's some weird medical mumbo jumbo involved in that department. And there's probably some really big issues with cannabis becoming a major player as far as that goes. I was just looking down at my dog, who is passed out and looking so cute. Let me see if I can get y'all a little hanky cam here. There we are. There we are. Yay. Wow, she's such a cute girl. There, now you've got a good, funny thing to look at while I ramble. Let's see. Yeah, getting cannabis into a position where we have, like, the problem is that it threatens too many industries. It threatens the gas industry, the energy industry as a whole, the food industry, the concrete industry, the medical industry, like pharmaceuticals in general. Cannabis solves so many different things that insurance just straight up won't cover. Like there's so many people who would much rather spend money on weed and, you know, be able to smoke it immediately and feel great and just live their life and do what they want, that the insurance companies straight up won't cover, and they don't care. Like, people do not care that the insurance companies won't cover this, because you can just immediately cash in hand, get some relief. And I think a lot of people would much rather do that than be forced to take different corporate pharmaceutical drugs that, you know, were engineered to make you want and need more of whatever it is that you're taking. Very frustrating. See, get back to chat. Oh, good. We got some cheese and jack action going here. Reading back up on the chats here. Well, okay, so life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Let's start there. So, what if the real issue wasn't necessarily with cannabis itself? What if it's with any potential plant that can be grown by any person, consumed in the same way? So, we can talk about many different plants in this context, but here, I don't know, are y'all liking the hanky cam? Let's see. Single payer Medicare for all would be fucking great. Not having all of these different crazy insurance networks, making it super easy for people to get healthcare would be a goal. Certainly, there's always work being done in this direction, but not enough, right? That said, there is a interesting separation between a medical and a legal marijuana industry that I notice in different parts of the country. As an example of this, in fucking California, I know that if you have a medical card and you go to a dispensary, in many cases, you don't have to pay taxes on your product, which I think is pretty cool. But at the same time, there's like, I kind of like the idea that well, I don't like that cheese, but I hope you have a good rest, bro. I think that there's a lot of money that could be made off of taxing cannabis in a proper way. Legalize it, tax it, reinvest the money into different infrastructure, make America great again. Very straightforward process, I feel like. But there's a lot of existing infrastructures that get in the way of any real progress being made. And so these infrastructures, more likely than not, need to be torn down, burnt down, ground to dust, and blown into the wind. There's a lot of restructuring that needs to be done, a lot of refactoring, a lot of finding situations where we can push things in the right direction. We shouldn't complain about things that we don't have the ability to make a direct impact on, or even an indirect impact on, like things that don't affect us personally shouldn't be things we even care about. So for the things that we do care about, there has to be a way for us to make an effective change, because they wouldn't be things we care about if they did not affect us in some way. Many people will get emotional over some things that have nothing to do with them entirely. Groups with money in general, it's really hard to suss out political ethos when when you have all of these corporate interests that are like guiding the decisions that the groups make with a moniker of morality, pretending like they actually give a shit about the things they say they do, but really they're playing a min-max game, right? Like they're trying to garner as much movement, like much people movement in their direction in order to maximize profits. And so if someone, is able to figure out that like more people want woke culture or want like for instance, here's a good example. Like every year during June, which is Pride Month, I believe, every company that is on board with this, who thinks that they have something to gain by participating in Pride Month, for instance, if they think it'll get more sales, then they'll do it. But people who are not on board will not do it. But in general, like for instance, very few things will actually be rejected by the masses. And the things that are usually going to be like of such extreme traditional value that the values themselves reject all of the other things that these corporations would be wanting in the first place. And if your goal is to min-max your profits, then that's exactly what you should be doing. But if your goal is to be like ethical, if your goal is to be a person of virtue, a person with character, someone who truly thinks for themselves and doesn't bandwagon onto slogans, memes, and other forms of encapsulated, contained thought or ideas. If you make an effort to reject groupthink, maybe you can find out exactly who you are and find yourself within the crowd. Because it's not about left or right anymore. Just like Jack Horse says. It's no longer about Democrats and Republicans. It's about who's got the most money and who's paying it to you. I think this is a evil dojo, very evil dojo concept. Very good discussion in general. Having a co-host would be kind of an entertaining thought. Being able to go back and forth. I mean, I like doing this with the chat in general, because it gives something to feed off of. In general, I'm going to try to make an effort. I'm going to make an effort, just period, to have a few topics lined up for at least one weekly ramble, kind of like I'm doing right now. In addition to this, there will be, of course, more video game footage, and we will also do software discussions. I want to get back into live broadcasting, showing projects that I'm working on and techniques and things that I've learned or picked up in the last week, or interesting projects that I come across, or things of this nature. I'm trying to make an effort to catalog these things throughout the week, and so my effective work for making something interesting is going to be about archiving and emailing links to myself for us to go over during individual shows. In addition to this, we're going to have ethical, or rather not ethical, but like ethics discussions, kind of like we've been doing today, because in the end, how can we root out corruption if we do not learn the process by which corruption occurs ourselves? I think Hanky agrees in her dream state. See her paws moving here on the cam. She is very crashed. I think my voice has put her to sleep. She's such a good girl, isn't she? She's so cute. I'm very happy. People get the wrong idea about my emotional state. Quite often, it's been a problem in real life across a good period of my life. Like sometimes I'll be here, I'm gonna come back on cam for a moment. Oops. Sometimes I'll be like, you know, with my my eyebrows, like furrowed, like that. That doesn't mean I'm mad, right? I mean I'm angry. Like, why are your eyebrows furrowed? People would get this wrong all the time. Can't help it. If I'm focused on something and then someone looks at me and they go, why is he mad? It's like, no, I'm not mad, I'm focused on something. And if I chat negatively at someone who's trying to come at me in like a really indirect way, or in a way that's disruptive to my own flow, or ignores a point that I'm making, or something to this effect, like there's a time to be the active and there's a time to be the passive. And I'm definitely not active all the time, but being a listener is something I've been most of my life. And people have said I'm good at it to the point where I've had hundreds of computer science students at this point. And I'll probably get back to tutoring in the future, you know, on a more heavy basis. Maybe, if something more fun doesn't happen before that. I more like working with code and actually writing code than I do tutoring people. In a lot of ways, I ended up doing that out of a necessity and opportunity, rather than a actual desire for that to be the thing I was doing. But in the end, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that ability either. The entire trajectory of the course of my life over the last 6 years now has been off of the fact that I have tutoring experience from college, from when did I go to college? 17 years ago. Is that right? Stu's 2022 now. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 18 years ago. So that means 16 years ago is when I first began tutoring in college. And so even then, the trajectory has been centered around my ability to not only out-accelerate my peers in whatever domain it is that we happen to be working in, but get to a point where I'm so far ahead of everyone else that I can then turn my energy back in on the group and then help the group optimize by going around and asking everyone questions like, what do you need help with? You know, what are you stuck on? Because everyone's going to get the problem right eventually with the right guidance, and everyone moves at their own pace, and you can't force someone to move quicker if they're not stuck. Like if someone's making ample progress on a problem and they're just like, you know, chugging along, typing in code and piecing things together in a way that's most comfortable for them, what matters is that they actually get the thing right at the very end, not how they get there. Everyone's going to take a different path, and the point is that water, it's not Bruce Lee be like water, but water finds its own, you know, has to be allowed to like find its own resting point. Oh, that's a pretty good angle. Nice. Yeah, I don't want to disturb the little girl. Yeah. To up from the flop. Toe up from the flow up. Oh, I totally read that wrong. Yeah, it is getting late. But I try to do at least one stream a week at this point. More than anything, I just wanted to be able to get on camera and just rant and ramble and rave, just vent and be able to just get shit off my chest and talk. And I think I've done that pretty well. It may not be what Octo wanted, but it's not about all what Octo wants. It's not about what Jewbird wants either. They can have their own streams. I've got mine. Thanks for hanging out, Jack Horse. Thanks for hanging out, Cheese. Thanks for hanging, Liquid and Kuntz. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, this is Evil Dojo and the Hanky Poo. Signing off before OBS decides to shit a brick and redline me, abruptly ending my performance early, like it did last time when I was playing Dragon Quest XI last week. You really do need like a second set of eyes, like being able to like do this and like monitor. It's an effort. This is why being able to rant and ramble is kind of an important tool in my broadcaster tool belt. Until next time, friends.